Hello, my name is Amrit, and with this presentation, I will be describing about the usability analysis of augmented reality. Let's look at what will be the topic I'm going to incorporate. Firstly, I will be talking about the evaluation, and then usability of the system, and some conclusion about the topic. Before describing the evaluation, I want to talk about the reason for choosing this specific topic for this presentation. In this picture, we can see the fields and expected revenue by the end of 2025 that this technology will be making in these wide scopes. So, though it is being widely used, there is still huge possibility of enhancement to the system. So, this topic intrigued me a lot, and I was curious to know what sort of next generation interfaces does this system is using or is going to be used in coming days. So let's look at the evaluation now. Augmented reality was first achieved to some extent by the cinematographer called Morton Hellig in 1957. He invented the sensoroma, which delivered visual, sound, vibration, and smell to the viewers. Of course, it was not computer controlled, but it was the first example of an attempt at adding additional data to an experience. In maybe 1968, Ivan Sutherland, the American computer scientist and early internet influence, invented the head-mounted display as a kind of window into a virtual world. But now, augmented reality is widely being used for studies, entertainment, military, and many other fields. Now, let's talk about the usability in terms of UI and UX. When considering how to interact with the environment, first consider what hardware the user will be engaging with. Phone interaction are different than HoloLens interaction. Interaction also depends on the goal of your experience. These are some of mode of interaction in the UR like tap, switch, pinch, rotate, and so on. UI UX design itself is challenging for AR because controlling the environment is not always possible in AR, and it's not easy to see what the user is seeing. And there are two main types of object in AR, that is 3D volumetrics that can interact with the light and shadow, and second is animated media, things like images and videos. These media's items are basically the same as traditional 2D medias but are rendered in the new context of AR. Unlike virtual reality, which requires users to purchase pricey headset in order to maintain immerse in an altered experience, it's possible to experience AR on mobile. Both Android and iOS device can drop virtual objects alongside real ones through the phone's camera. This makes the augmented reality a more feasible option for the developers. Some of the hardware used to render and achieve augmented reality are head-mounted display (HDM) and eyeglasses and so on. And now talking about the design consideration. AR design primarily focuses on the following things like safety, overkill, environment, comfort, and security. Safety means that the user real world context that would not distract and mislead them into the danger. And overkill means like sense with meaningless data, like keeping experiences conceptualized. And environment means like unlike the desktop experiences, AR happens anywhere, so it aims primarily for the user context regarding whether they are outdoor, indoor, and moving or static. Whatever their settings, user expect pleasurable, user-friendly experiences. So that's called the environment factor that affects the usability. And then comfort. Comfort also is a design consideration for the UI for the AR. More comfortable design prevent physical strains and reduce cognitive load. So those are the design consideration for the usability. Let's talk about significance in future now. Augmented reality is a term that has been in the mainstream public consciousness for decades. Despite all of the promises, it is only now, since the rise of the powerful smartphone technologies, that AR is finally a mainstream reality. This presentation aims to outline some of the many opportunities that AR can now offer organizations and brands of all the shapes and sizes. For example, AR increases engagement and interaction and provides a richer user experience. Research has shown that AR increases the perceived value of product and brands. Well implemented AR activities conveys innovative and responsiveness from forward thinking brands. And on top of it, AR is mobile and personal and therefore hugely accessible to rapidly growing smartphone market. Compared to VR, AR is an inexpensive alternative to other media platform, as no specific media need to be purchased, and brands have access to detailed analytics, enabling them to truly understand their audience. And so, as for the conclusion, I want to I want to say that from the research film Global Market Insight, industrial application accounted for more than 25% of the augmented reality market share in 2015. There are many enhancements to be made in this field in order to make the effective ecosystem for AR. Some of the challenges with augmented reality are hardware issues. AR headsets have bulky hardware that may also be too expensive for the masses, and limited contents for creating augmented reality content to promote business can be extremely complex and inexpensive, and the lack of the regulation. Currently there are no regulation to govern the uses of the augmented reality, so lack of regulation is another aspect of the challenge for the AR. And public suspecticism, like consumer are unaware of the benefit and application of the augmented reality, so people more tend to avoid using the AR due to public suspecticism. And physical and safety risks are also considered as challenges for the AR. Augmented reality application can be immensely distracting and may lead to physical injury sometimes, so that can be another challenging aspect for the AR. And in the coming days, I expect to see the sales executing AR, like trying clothes while online shopping and test drive using AR, and universities having practicals in AR that require expensive and inaccessible trial components. So I would like to conclude my presentation with this. Hope you find it interesting. Thank you.